How exciting. Isn't this great? I have not made a video in probably a year. It's been a long ride. It's been a long road, you know? And yeah, I'll probably tell you later on about my hiccups of life and stuff like that. But at the moment, let's just focus on you. So you're probably thinking to yourself, is IT dead? Should I continue looking into jobs and stuff like that? Or is like AI, you know, going to completely remove people technically from IT? I don't think so, you know. I think there's more demand for IT professionals to be able to come in and lend a hand. Now the rate's not that good when it comes to like contracting, but it's better than perm. There's loads of perm jobs out, but perm, salaries aren't really that great. So what can I say? All I can say is that look, if you feel passionate about getting into cloud, if you feel passionate about IT, if you feel excited, then still pursue it. You just don't know where it's going to end up. If you're just doing it for the money, then I'll say forget it because, yes, there is money in IT. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of money in IT, but it don't make sense doing this for the cash. You want to do it for the passion. That's what's going to get you up going. That's what's going to get you learning, you know. That's 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 just it, just like anything else. So anyway, let's stop talking and let's just see what the market's doing in this fantasy doozy way. So I'm going to share my screen. I am using Zoom, and I am using my new laptop I bought from Dell. I only buy Dell. I only buy Dell. I don't use Macs. Why? Because I only trust what works. Not saying that Macs don't work, but never had a Dell let me down yet. Anyway, so AWS. Let's start here. Let's see what the perm world is saying. So I did look at this morning. And it's pretty good. Now, what I tend to do is that this is IT Job Watch. I am looking this from the side of, you know, what what's actually on the up at the moment. So you've got cloud practitioner. So that's interesting because that's a junior role. So what does that tell me? Junior roles are coming back, you know, but it's entry level at 30 grand. But what they do is that in the market is that they get you there in the entry role, right? Say that we're going to do all these fantastic things for your career and stuff like that, get you up running and going, and then you plateau when it comes to your salary, but the work increase. So what I mean by that is that you get quickly from being a practitioner to like DevOps, architect, something in the same company, but they won't relabel your title like that. What they'll tend to do is that they'll probably go, well, you're still a practitioner, but we let you do these sort of things. So you seem to be really good at it, but your salary will stagnate at that. But we give you more work. And the only time that you actually, if you want to be able to match your salary to your job role, is do a hop, after 2 years or so being in a company. Now, I did start off by saying this, you don't want to do this for the money, but there's always a dichotomy with things. So if you're gonna, we want to be rewarded for the for the sacrifices we make. It ain't fucking easy. Anyhow, because the amount of books that you have to go through is ridiculous. You really need to study your tits off when it comes to all this stuff. And, there's so much crap that you actually have to go through. The politics in IT is ridiculous. And the people that you have to contend to, it's just, you just want to know how the hell they got the job in the first place. But anyhow, I digress. So anyway, cloud practitioner is the way how it goes. You can see that the entry levels there, really easy for you to get in the market today. I'm telling you this now. When there's a shift in the economy, when there's a shift in tech, when there's a down spiral of something, this is the time to do it, right? So there's still entry levels. So, you know, there's plenty. Look, it's up by 145 points or percent or whatever. Anyhow, AWS Architect, I'm not surprised about that because you are going to see a lot of people where they haven't made any changes for like 2, 3 years and they have to make changes now. New applications coming around, mergers and stuff like that. They have to be able to do something, so I'm not surprised. Cloud formation, I will ignore. Step. These are all, you know, uh, these are not job titles. This is. So data engineer, down by 7 points, but I would not actually think too much about that because data is very important. It's new goal, as it'll say. Direct Connect, ignore that. AWS Architect, we already talked about that. Solutions Architect, matching the same. What's the difference? Well, Solutions Architect is supposed to be providing a solution for an issue. Architect is supposed to be a generalist, according to some people. Everyone is a difference. Somebody out there will tell you precisely as to what that is, but ask them in reality, does that really apply wherever you go? No, it doesn't. But platform engineer, well, looky there, 90K, 5K less than an architect. Isn't that strange? Anyhow, yeah, so yeah, it's still there. Still good. Contract world, what are we going to get? What's on the up? AWS, of course, is up by 1 point. That's really cool. Thank you. Still paying, infrastructure architects £600 a day. That's not chump change, really. That's pretty good. About 5 years ago, 6 years ago, you would probably see that job about £700, £800. Times will come back, but at the moment, as I said, don't do it for the money, do it for the passion. You know, the more you are good at your job, the more somebody will pay you. Let's check out Azure. Okay. We start from the contract side. Now, what you find is that Azure is on the up. There's more greens here. I did say ignore the technology key vault. What this is telling me is that there's more mention of the word Azure key vault or key vault in job descriptions. I believe that's how that's actually being. But, you know, what I'm seeing here, there's more of a market in demand for Azure. Bicep, that was strange because that was up, I think, probably about 16 points last year, and it's kind of neutral. And what that tells me is that a lot of people out there aren't actually looking at to adopt Bicep as much. And I'm seeing that a lot of people are actually who've started off with Bicep go, hang on for a second. Terraform seems to be a lot simpler. Also, we're moving away from just being Azure. We need a hybrid model, so we're going to have something on-prem. Well, what infrastructures could suit that? Well, Terraform or Pulumi, but Pulumi is not as popular. Terraform is. And because it's popular, you don't have to reinvent the wheel, and it's easy to get models or anything like that supports you. So that's it. Let's talk about market. What you get paid. Interesting. Seems to me that these are getting paid higher than AWS, although AWS is the market leader, or at some point was. I think these are neck to neck. That's what that's telling me. But yeah, it's really good. Platform engineer pay average is £600, but probably you're getting kind of a mixed message there. This doesn't actually tell me if it's inside R35 or outside R35. That's what you got to pay attention to. Let's go for perm. So Azure AI up by 496 points. Not a surprise. A lot of people, but what do you mean by AI? Is that co-pilot only? Is that machine learning? Is that, you know, it's a whole mixed bag, of what that basically means. But that's how you go. Is it paying well? It still pays well. I would ignore synapse. Data architect is a role. Architect is a role. Azure AI is a qualification, but it could also be Azure AI engineer. Azure DevOps engineer, 75 grand. That's pretty good. That's like starting entry point. That's the average. Platform engineer, 75. Isn't that interesting? But you know what's funny about the market, folks? Platform engineer, where I've seen, still use the same tools as DevOps engineers. Okay. And DevOps engineers allegedly are supposed to be like the higher than platform engineers, but they're both the same, you know? So what DevOps is supposed to be doing is working with um, your developers and trying to get things moving from left to right as quickly as possible and ensuring security, ensuring automation, all those kind of things. But I was seeing platform engineers doing the same type of role. Platform engineers are supposed to be away from the talking of DevOps, but more or less ensuring that the platform itself is running as smoothly as possible. But I still find platform engineer roles still talk to developers. So make sense of that. Bicep, just as I said before, I'm not surprised that that's on the down. It's not a job title, but it is a mention of the technology and it's down. I am not surprised. Let's try Google Cloud. Google or GCP. Oh, gotta type it properly. Yeah, it's paying better from what I can see from the past, but it's not as popular. GCP engineer. Okay, it's coming up. But guess what? So here in the UK, I've heard through the grapevine that, GCP is a virtually government, MOD, all these kind of people, and just more or less, um, giving them grants, giving them incentives into trying to move away from on-prem or whatever other cloud provider or adopting the new technology into their cloud. So you're going to see, I think, more Google Cloud start to grow and start to get in demand more or less from the military side of things. But if you're using Azure applications, it's kind of hard to move away from those kind of perspectives. So we shall see. But that's it. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all I got for today. Hopefully, I will get some more coming on. Stay tuned because I am starting to develop more of a um, online training platform, you know, and I've got a WhatsApp group that I actually get people on that. We talk and share on experiences. We share how to pass exams, those kind of things. So yeah, stay tuned. But that's it for now. Jude the Dude out. See you later.